let's explore meditation instructions for Christians and one other spiritual poem. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. Today's first poem, Meditation Instructions for Christians. I've spent a week in South Texas and lived to tell the tale. After marinating in the auras of many fundamentalists, I feel compelled to explain. In the Christian New Testament, we see an oft-repeated dichotomy, a division in two, which, when addressing the church in Rome, Paul described it in terms of new man and old man. John described it with the words, "Perfect love drives out fear." And in his first letter to the church in Corinth, Paul wrote that love trusts all things and inferred that fear suspects all things. What if fear is not a spiritual indictment, come to tear us out of grace and drag us into the bowels of hell? What if fear could merely serve as a barometer, alerting us when we are coming close to not walking in the Spirit? When fear is felt, are we to lie both to ourselves as well as the Holy Spirit about what we truly feel? Or will we follow the example of the man who brought his sick daughter to Christ and admitted, "Lord, I believe, help my disbelief"? How can we, like a good King Hezekiah, give our fears to God? The answer could be as simple as a 3-step process. We begin where one would expect to, with the first step. In his letter to the Ephesians, Paul wrote, imploring them to wake up. Centuries earlier, the psalmist wrote that we are made fearfully and wonderfully. The Almighty has given us awareness of our 5 senses, awareness of sensation and flavor and scent and sound and light, awareness of emotion and intention and reason and recollection and imagination. Remember how it is written in John's first letter to let the Spirit do his work. So, instead of actively and arbitrarily concentrating upon the object of our fears, or seeking and hunting for solutions to our dilemmas, we could merely notice passively, notice vulnerably whatever the indwelling Spirit of God deems fit to show us. We can do this as we silently and mentally recite the preposition "this" during each inhalation. For in the Hebrew, the word for breath and the word for spirit are the same. Both our awareness and our breath are a gift from the Almighty. Come, let us use them well. This is the first of 3 steps. Just as every sunrise is followed by a sunset, and every inhalation is followed by an exhalation, likewise, every act of noticing could be followed by release. The psalmist reminds us to be still and know the Lord is God. This stilling, this release are the fruits of physical relaxation. And relaxation is like a software subroutine that is written in each of our bodies and folded into every exhalation. This stillness is accessed in relaxation, and relaxation is latent within each out breath. In the Lord's Prayer, do the words, "Thy will be done," not remind us to surrender our will and our assumptions before God? For there is no suffering that we can endure that cannot be multiplied with just a little resistance on our part. To walk in the Spirit is to walk in centered spontaneity, not scatteredness, not contrivance, nor controllingness, if there is such a word. To walk in the Spirit is to walk with surrender, a divine momentum we could access by silently and mentally reciting the noun yes during each out-breath. A man courting a woman might give her a bouquet. What if she were to tear it out of his hand, lift it over her head, throw it down upon the ground, straddle over it, adjust her skirt, and urinate upon it? Could her rejection of the gift not also be a rejection of the suitor who gave it to her? The Almighty has given us our astonishing bodies with which to better walk in the Spirit. Will we likewise reject out of hand the mechanisms for peace He installed within our bodies, heaven sent? This exhaling into acceptance is the second of 3 steps. The next time you find yourself in turmoil, walk briskly around your block. You could pray, "Lord, I surrender to your will. Help my non-surrender. Help my petulant resistance." As you stride briskly around your block, with every inhalation, you could wake up by silently and mentally reciting this. And during every exhalation, you could deepen your surrender to God's providence by silently and mentally reciting yes, while physically relaxing as best you can. You could do this. You could do this. You could walk briskly around your block over and over and over, treating it as your own private road to Damascus. And in 20 or 40 or 60 minutes, the scales of annoyance, uneasiness, the blues, or even rage or terror or despair could fall from your eyes. blending the inhaled this and the silently exhaled yes with a brisk walk around the block is the third step. This is how you could further wake up to the stillness that knows the Lord is God. Today's second and final poem, Endeavor. My right eyebrow has sprouted its first white hair. It is coarse and wiry and rather pubic-like, almost as if Mother Nature was saying, "You are far too old to rear children, so with every passing day I shall endeavor to make you less and less attractive." Let us conclude with a simple call to action. This podcast will never have any advertisements, so support us monthly on PayPal and like us on your podcast service to help others find us, just as you found us as well. If meditation has felt impossible or boring or just out of reach, you are welcome to register at buddhajoy.org for the next series of live online meditation class webinars that meet once a week.